Right at home. All right.
Y'all get that check from the government for that 20-something million dollars?
Get about half of it.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, as much as we got paid back.
Sure have that.
Your great grandkids will be proud of you. Say your grandkids will be proud of
Call to order the May 5th, 2022 meeting of Mayor and Council. Also like to call Pastor Lee Henderson to the front of Lisa's prayer to be back standing for the pledge.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. In the Bible it says that the disciples of Christ came to him and they told him that John had taught his disciples how to pray. And they said to him, Master, teach us to pray. And he said, when you pray, pray after this manner. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we have forgiven those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. We pray for leadership, and we pray for fellowship. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Council set time to review the minutes from the April 7th, 2022 regular meeting. Council, are there any additions or deletions? Hearing none, the minutes are approved by acclamation. We'll move on to public hearings. Item A, consideration of ordinance for a conditional use permit for a personal service shop, aesthetics academy, and an office for professional zoning district. Madam Martin.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. This is the first of the three public hearing items on the agenda for zoning cases. As we talked about in the work session, this is becoming familiar property. This property was recently rezoned from RP to OP. We had not updated the case map yet, but this is the second part of that adventure where we're looking at the conditional use permit by the same applicant, close to the same property, for both a personal services shop as well as an aesthetics academy, all of which require conditional use permit under OP zoning. And that was the reason, of course, for the OP zoning change. Property is located at 2317 Venus Road. You see it's at the southeast corner of Venus and Randolph. Character area is Neighborhood Activity Center. This is that lower intensity part of Venus Road that we've been talking about. Aerial image map in your packet. You see the rooftop. It's an existing office building. I think it's an accounting office for most of its lifetime. Has about 9 parking spaces in the front and the rear. Seems to be just the right size for the applicant. Site plan in the packet shows the detail of the layout. Applicant is proposing no changes to the building or the site, simply to move in and start operating. Subject property photos. This is the view from Venus Road, or the front parking lot. The view from the side facing Randolph, and then the fenced in rear yard, which offers some overflow parking or even perhaps future expansion of the building. We talked about in the past one of the possible new uses, maybe a yoga studio, indoor, outdoor, and this actually might be the location. Adjacent properties along Venus Road, you have a mixture of small offices and I think a couple older retail shops. Still some leftover residential uses. This is across the road on Venus. And then not shown, but there is a house directly to the north of the subject property. Planning Commission reviewed this at their March meeting. They found the conditional use request consistent with the comprehensive plan, also the conditional use review criteria, and those items are there in the packet. And they recommend approval of that subject to 4 conditions. The first one is approval shall be granted for a personal services shop in OP zoning in the form of cosmetic medical tattoo, esthetician, and other spa-related services. Approval shall also be granted for an aesthetics training academy with no more than 5 students at a time, and as an accessory use to the property. Number 2, the existing building may be expanded or reconstructed, but shall not exceed 3,000 square feet gross floor area. Number 3, daily hours of operation for the facility shall be within the time frame of 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then lastly, number 4, conditional use approval shall expire for 2 years from the date of approval if no business licenses for the approved uses have been requested by that date. I'm glad to answer any questions you may have.
Council, any questions from that? Matt, thank you. And this is a public hearing item. Is there anybody who'd like to come speak on behalf of this request? Seeing none, is there anybody that would like to speak in opposition? Again, seeing none, council, it's yours for consideration.
Mayor, I make a motion that we accept this, with the full conditions.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Thank you. Item B, consideration of ordinance to rezone 1.04 acres from heavy industrial M2 to highway commercial HC zoning. Request made by Trevor Shaw. Matt Martin will again present.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. This is at the southwest corner of Hill Avenue and St. Augustine Road. As you see on the map on the screen and in your packet, it is part of a larger industrial area that most folks do not realize actually has industrial zoning, but this is heavy industry M2 that has been in place for more than 40 years. It's always had a commercial use. It's always been a grandfathered in type of commercial use until recently when there was a gap in the chain and the new commercial use came along and put the spotlight on the zoning that's here. So this is really a fix of the old zoning pattern that has been in place for a long time. Highway commercial has been requested that you see matches the other highway commercial properties on the other 3 directions. And what it does for the applicant as property owner, it opens up a broader range of possible tenants for the property. In this particular case, it's a used car dealer that is wanting to locate there. Curiously, the address is Hemlock Street. It has a back entrance to Hemlock. The main entrance is always to the north at Hill Avenue, and we'll probably see an address change. Planning Commission reviewed this also at their March meeting, found the rezoning request consistent with the comprehensive plan, the standards for exercise of zoning power, which are listed there in the packet, and they're recommending approval of CH zoning.
Any questions for Matt?
I have one question. You said that there would probably be an address change on the back part?
Right, and I think officially it's 104 Hemlock Street. They face Hill Avenue, and all likelihood the businesses that locate there would be more easily found if they have a West Hill Avenue street address. But it's a footnote.
Any further questions for Matt? Thank you, Matt. Again, this is a public hearing item. Is there anybody who would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request? Close that out. Is there anybody who would like to speak in opposition to this request? Seeing none, I'll turn it over to council for action.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the request as presented. Second.
Motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Council Ring. Item C, consideration of ordinance to rezone 2 acres from residential professional, RP to community commercial CC. Split in by True North, and Matt will be presented.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. This is commonly referred to as 2320 property, or it's called the street address, which is 2320 North Patterson. It is the mostly vacant tract of land that is across the street from the South Georgia Medical Center parking deck on Patterson. It is there at the interesting intersection of Roosevelt Drive and then the traffic light, for the access into Ashley. Many years ago, there was a history began where properties were assembled. There was a master plan in 2007 for an 11-story building, mixed use, very interesting project. But of course, that was right on the eve of the big recession. That project did not come to fruition. It's had a history of a few zoning changes since then to accommodate something other than 11-story building. Recently, we rezoned the entire front yard of this from OP to RP to match the rest of the property. The western part along North Humes has been RP with conditions since 2016. And so that was to make way for a master plan that looks something like this. Footprint of a 4-story apartment building occupying a good piece of the property for the rear, and then parking lot, and as well as proposed office buildings embedded within the yellow area that you see. So that was done as one step. The next step in the process is the applicant is putting together a master plan for a mixed-use development. And to help facilitate that, they're looking for some CC zoning to add just a little more residential to the mix and the possibility of some light commercial uses to go with the office buildings. So what they're proposing this round is to rezone this 2 acres out of a 7-acre site from RP to CC community commercial to allow that extra mixture. We talked about this at the work session where we made a long series of conversations with the applicant about how this zoning area should be configured to keep this from becoming a commercial site, but simply let the CC add to the mix what they're proposing, and then they would come back to you in a few months with a master plan of mixed use. But this is for planning purposes to see if they can add more to the site than they're anticipating. We also talked about perhaps a condition of approval to be added to the CC zoning. I emailed some draft language of that to you early this morning. Put out a hard copy print of that at your stations this evening. So that is there for your consideration as well. The site plan currently, as they're looking at it, resembles this. We see the floor plan of the apartments, where the location of the office buildings would be to line up with the commercial zoning that's being proposed. Subject property is still mostly vacant. You have the park to the north, BSU North Campus facilities directly to the northeast, and then of course the parking deck at Central Medical Center, and then some more of the property to the rear, which is actually part of the overall subject property. This is a creative stormwater pond that is planned to be completely redone and treated in a whole different way. But for the moment, as the study's done, the request is to rezone a portion of this property to commercial. Planning Commission also reviewing this at the meeting in March, found it consistent with the comprehensive plan, stands for exercise of zoning power as outlined in your packet, and they recommend approval of CC zoning.
Any questions for Matt? Thank you. In a public hearing, does anybody who would like to come forward and speak in favor of this project?
Hello, my name is Clayton Milligan. I'm at 3998 Perimeter Road. I'm here on behalf of True North, and we're the civil engineers for the project. We've been involved in this for a while now, so I'd be happy to answer any questions you would have. I would just say that the CC zone does allow us to add some residential, but then also be right across from the hospital, and all the expansion projects around the hospital that will allow, instead of just an office, but some potential other commercial uses like a flower shop or something like that to go in that would benefit some of, being that close to the hospital and uses that would go along with that. So that's part of the master plan that True North is looking at.
Council, any questions? No? Anybody else would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request? Seeing none, is there anybody who would like to speak in opposition to this request? Council, it's yours.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we find conditional CC zoning consistent with the comprehensive plan and the standard for the exercise of zoning power, and that we approve the request subject to the condition that no automotive-related uses will be allowed, such as included automotive repair facilities, car wash, fueling, or service stations, auto sales, or rental establishments, and the like.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Council, all in favor, show of hands. Clerk Barber will present.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, Council. As we discussed in some week, Tuesday evening in our work session, this resolution before you tonight is to show support for the Griffin Avenue project we discussed at our strategic summit. You've also approved some zoning changes for this project to be able to happen. Again, as a reminder, this purchase of the property, as well as a low interest loan at the appropriate time to kick the construction off. If the developer gets approved for this project, we'll be ready to go. This will show the support of the city for these projects. So again, as we mentioned Tuesday evening, this resolution is a little lengthy, more lengthy than normal because we put a lot of information in there that we felt was necessary because it's going to be funded through the ARPA process. So I'd be happy to answer any questions this evening.
Council.
Thank you.
Council, it's yours.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this request presented by the city manager.
Second. A motion and a second. Any further comment? All in favor, show of hands. Unanimous. Second. Good night. Move on to bids, contracts, agreements, and expenditures. Consideration of bids for the alternative pedestrian improvement project at the Tolliver. Represents.
Prior to 2018, Alden Avenue between Jerry Jones and Bay Street was a safety hazard for pedestrians with very narrow shoulders and deep ditches. So in the transportation plan that was drafted for the city, recommended that the ditch be put in the ditch and ultimately put sidewalks in. So we properly advertised the project and it was awarded to standard contractors in the amount of $576,600. When you add 10% contingency to that, the total comes to $634,260. And engineering recommends that we accept the bid.
Questions for Tim? All right, good. Thank you. Entertained motion?
Mayor, I make a motion to accept the bid as stated with 10% contingency for a total of $634,260.
Motion and a second. Any further comment? All in favor, show of hands. Unanimous. Stay with us. Consideration of bids for resurfacing streets in the city of Valdosta, the right limited program.
Annually, the state appropriates money to the city for the purposes of, in our cases, we usually repair and resurface roads. The amount we get is generally around $500,000, $600,000. And we've been able to generally pave about 5 to 6 miles. So on this year, we identified 5.24 miles. And we properly advertised the bid, and Scruggs and Reams both bid on the project. And okay, the Scruggs won the bid for the amount of $1,406,537.83. Adding a 10% contingency to that, we get $1,547,191.661. Engineering recommends that we accept the bid.
Council, any questions for Kevin? Thanks. Council, it's yours. Second. Got a motion and a second. Any further comment? All in favor, show of hands. Roll. Item C, consideration of bids for 6 swing truck trailers for Public Works Department and the bus road. Operations Superintendent present.
Thank you, Mayor. Council. Consideration of bid number 21-21-22. Public Works Department needs to replace several swing car trailers due to deterioration, age, and loss of functionality. There has been approved in the budget $90,000. Sealed bids were received on April 12th, 2022. Bid received from Clanton's Welding located in Morgan, Georgia. The bid amount did come in under budget at $77,868, which is equivalent to $12,978 each for each trailer. Staff recommends that the council approve this bid, Clanton's Welding, in the amount of $77,868 and allow Public Works to proceed with the purchase.
Any questions for Andy?
Just have one question. Do these come with netting or something to put over them when they're transported from the site back to?
Net,
Or do we can't just do that on?
we do that on,
They're all covered every time.
we can get them covered.
I just had some complaints about things blowing out, debris blowing out, things like that. But that's such a
Sure.
have that availability.
We have that availability.
And we do have other, thank you for saying that.
But we will ensure that everything's covered.
We do have other numbers that are out there, trash around, thank you.
Any other questions for Andy? Council, it's yours for consideration.
Second.
Motion is second. Jury, you have consideration?
No. I believe what he said.
Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Right, it's unanimous. Just a little slow. Consideration of request to approve purchase of 2 check valves for rear master lift station and crosshair utility director. Is that David?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. The existing 8-inch metal disc check valves at the river left master lift station have been problematic. The existing valve slam hard on closure, which could result in melting pipe failure. Replacing them with a valve magnet check valve with a rubber flap will ensure a softer closure, reduce slamming, and the risk of force main failure. These valves are more robust and designed and more suited to the force main pressure fluctuation. Tempstone Incorporated is the exclusive supplier for valve magnet check valves for the state of Georgia. The city has been using these check valves at several other locations and currently has one installed at the Northwood station. This is the FY22 approved cap line for $67,000 that originally included 4 valves. However, due to unexpected cost increases, only 2 valves will be purchased. The cost to purchase the 2 valves and required materials is $41,594. Freight cost of freight would be $1,500, and staff recommends approving the purchase of the 2 check valves from Tempstone Incorporated in Blue Chip for a total of $43,094. I'm glad to take the question.
Council, any questions for David? Council, it's yours for action. Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Unanimous. Thank you. Say close consideration request for purchase of the canter unit for the Gucci wastewater treatment plant.
The decanter unit is a critical part of the treatment process and is with the Gucci Class 4 sequential fast reactors or SCRs. Without a properly functioning decanter, staff must take the SCR out of service to decrease the treatment capacity. Staff had initially planned to purchase a spare to keep on hand, and this is a FY22 approved capital item. Currently, the decanter and SCR4 is not closing properly and solids spill into the decanter housing. These solids overload the filters and cause some blockages. Staff took the SCR out of service and removed the decanter for repair. After further inspection and consultation with the manufacturer, they determined the best course of action was to replace it. Once the new decanter is installed, the old one will be refurbished and stored as a spare for emergencies. The decanter units are manufactured by Aqua Aerobic Systems Incorporated, who are the exclusive manufacturer and sole provider of this equipment. The cost to purchase the new unit is $76,767, which includes delivery. Staff recommends approving the purchase of the new decanter. Any questions?
Questions for David? See none, David, thank you. Council, it's yours for action.
Mayor, I make a motion to accept the bid stated.
Motion and second, any further discussion? All All in favor, show of hands. That's a thank you. Move on to boards, commissions, authorities, and advisory committees. As you've got plenty of time to look over these applicants. The Public Art Advisory Committee has 3 members. Steve Lahr, Stephen Walker, and Wendell Hodges, whose terms will expire June 1st of 2022. Stephen Walker has expressed an interest in being reappointed. Dr. Lahr and Wendell Hodges have not. There's also another applicant, Michelle Corbett, a self-employed artist and photographer. That being said, for 2 applicants for 3 positions, if you have no objection, and Stephen Walker and Michelle Corbett will be appointed by acclamation to serve on the Public Art Advisory Committee. No objection? Thank you. Item D, consideration of appointment to the Valdosta Housing Authority. This is my appointment. Honored that Shonda Jenkins with the degree of surge. She's a rock star over there. So, again, without objection, we will reappoint Shonda Jenkins to serve the Valdosta Housing Authority as your resident member. Council, thank you. Item C, consideration of appointment to the Valdosta Lowndes County Airport Authority. The Airport Authority has a member, George Page, whose term will expire May 1 of 2022. He's expressed an interest in being reappointed. So once again, without objection, we will appoint him by acclamation to serve on the Valdosta Lowndes County Airport Authority. Item D, consideration of appointment to the Valdosta Lowndes County Construction Board of Adjustments and Appeals. James Cohen is his term will expire June 30th. He has expressed an interest in being reappointed. So once again, Mr. Cohen is the lone appointee. If you have no objection, by acclamation, we'll reappoint him to serve on that Board of Adjustments and Appeals. Objection. Item E, consideration of appointment to the Valdosta Lowndes County Development Authority. Anisha Johnson resigned for personal reasons. Term is a joint appointment between the City of Valdosta and the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners. Will expire January 1st of 2024. This appointment is advertised according to our policy. We have 2 applicants, John Crawford, Vice President of the University. And then we have Austin Stoltenstad, Vice Contract Manager with the U.S. Air Force. He's for any nominations.
I'd like to nominate John Crawford.
Nomination of John Crawford, and third. Fantastic. With the one nomination, we will again appoint John Crawford by acclamation. Thanks, thank you. Item F, consideration of appointment to the Parks and Rec Authority. Stan Crone, whose term will expire June 30th of 2022. He's expressed an interest in being reappointed as well. As the lone applicant for the lone position, I think we're all honored to reappoint him by acclamation to serve with Parks and Rec Authority as well. With that. And then finally, item G, consideration of appointment to the Valdosta Lowndes County Zoning Board of Appeals. Nancy Hobby, whose term will expire July 1st, has expressed an interest in being reappointed. Once again, she's the lone applicant, so without objection, Nancy Hobby will be appointed by acclamation to serve on that zoning board of appeals. Objections? That concludes that portion of the agenda. Item 7, we'll move on to citizens to be heard. It's a portion of our meeting that we ask you to come forward and state your name and address. On behalf of the record, our policy requires you to stay under 3 minutes so that others have time to be heard. Please direct all comments to council as a whole. Not attempt to engage individual members of council in debate. It is our policy to follow through to your concerns immediately. Additionally, we ask that in groups, please appoint 1 member so that all may have time to be heard. Having said that, are there any citizens to be heard by? Please step forward.
Mayor, council, good evening. My name is Jim Tunis. I'm here as a concerned citizen. I would like to speak quickly to go over a topic. I'm here to speak to you, asking for your consideration to solve a public safety concern. The public safety concern is in downtown Valdosta. The public is at risk in the downtown area because of aggressive driving and high-speed traffic. In downtown is located the City Hall, this building, the City of City Government, the County Government Building, which includes the courts, the clerk's office, record-keeping, probate, magistrate court. It includes your land records. It includes your birth records at the Public Health Department, the city
has spent money across the street here for an amphitheater. There are major churches, a city fire station, a municipal, a city courthouse, retail stores, restaurants, 102 apartments or residences, literally from birth to death, and records are downtown, and it's worth protecting. There's over $70 million of fair market value property in the downtown development district that is at risk. The city website describes the downtown area as follows. The stately appearance of downtown streets, the storefronts have earned Valdosta repeated national Main Street certifications and awards. It talks about how beautiful downtown is, and please come visit. We all know from life experiences that the lack of traffic enforcement leads to aggressive driving, reckless driving, and speed. I'm not talking about a few miles over here or there in the commercial area, Bemis, North Valdosta, and so forth. I'm talking about a pedestrian business district that is burdened by 8,000 to 11,000 vehicles per day through the downtown district. Those are tractor trailers, cars, dump trucks, buses, pickup trucks. Who wants to walk through a high-speed commercial drag race zone with people being run over and crosswalked, drunk drivers on the way to work, $7 million worth of investment and hard work put at risk in our downtown area? I'm going to go over 4 areas of statistics for you to consider. 1, Georgia Department of Transportation demonstrates between 8,500 and 11,000 cars slowed north and south and east and west through the downtown development district. That includes between 6 and 13% of commercial vehicles, so that's between 600 and 1,400 tractor trailers, dump trucks, and buses through downtown Valdosta every day. On February 22nd, 2022, the Georgia State Patrol, on a citizen's request, did an operation in downtown Valdosta with 3 troopers and 3 MCCD officers. Those are the commercial heavy truck compliance officers. It started at 6 a.m.
Mr. Peters, your time's up, but you've been heard loud and clear, and we do realize we have an issue.
I will, thanks for your consideration. I will see you at the next meeting.
Well, if you hang around, people will follow up with you.
Thank you.
Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
I'm John Robinson with 27 Sanford Chuckerblade Park. I'm here tonight, this evening, to talk about the line that we have drawn in the same retaining from our attorneys. And we all had been put on notice, we were given 60 days to respond, and we were going to file an petition. Well, we did a lot of consideration and taking things under consideration. Before we make such a move, we're going to give everybody a last chance to see if we can get some things resolved. I'm here tonight to ask that same question that was put to you before, that we want a partnership between the city and the people of Purdue. We want this city to ask on behalf of the city for $250 million to restore and revitalize the south side and the low-income community of Valdosta. It's the thing that I have to come here and ask you to ask for help, to help your own city, for the underprivileged people that's in the city. There's no denying when you go over here to the James O'Brien overpass and you drive over the top of it, you see a portion of the city that's run down, where the people on this side of the city live in a poverty, and it's disgraceful for the state straight for all these years. I've been up here behind John Frederick, John Gale, and now a new city mayor, and we're hoping that there's a greater light to be shining in Valdosta. Here to appeal to you tonight that we don't want to move forward with the litigation. We want to see if we can come to some form of resolve, but we have drawn the line in this thing. There's a tremendous need here. When the city council members have to go out and feed people in the community, that's a signal that something is terribly wrong. And we need some justice and equality here in this city for one time, at least once and for the first time. Please take under consideration, each and every last one of you, that you make the decision. You're going to be the one to make the ultimate decision which way this thing is going to play out. We do want the partnership, and we want to be able to form a committee and be part of a committee that can help monitor the activities of the city. That's all we're asking. We're not asking nothing that great, just that we need to make some things happen, that it can better the lives, improve the lives for many people in the city. This is not just a mere fact that people are living with a little poverty, and we need to make a positive step. Thank you.
Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Hello, my name is Gracie Bacon. I live at 708 Holly Drive. I haven't been here in a while. It's not because my street is any better. It's worse. We got 3 houses there that are automobiles, and you can't say anymore. I can't see it because it's in the backyard. It's not, because all the hedges and the trees and everything else been cut down, so you can see it just fine. You don't even have to get out of your car. You don't even have to do them a stop. You don't even have to stop. Just drive by. Those 3 houses are filled with all kinds of cars, tractors, washing machines, dryers, lawnmowers, everything. You don't need to get out your car. So you don't have to worry about getting out of the car in a bad black neighborhood. All you got to do is drive. Now, the city marshal, one of your city marshals down there, Lady Bird, talking with that man, and I don't know what he said to him, but I could see him, but I couldn't hear him. All I know is I paid for it that night. Whatever he said to him, I'm the one that paid for it, because I had to stay up all night. Because he decided at that time, between 12 and 3 o'clock in the morning, to move all those cars from one side of the street to another on the flatbed. And you can imagine what that thing was like, how loud it was trying to move those cars. Not only moving of those cars, but all the lights. Now, you really see a lot of lights when the police are down there. Well, I promise you, he had more lights than any police officer ever had. Because they were lighting up my whole house. And so you all don't need to sit here and say, you can't look in the backyard. You can't say you didn't know. You can say, I don't care. Because this is a black neighborhood. But you all, if we don't pay our taxes, you're the first one to send us a notice. And a friend of mine got a letter from the city, and she had one car in the yard, and she had to move that car by March 12th, or pay $1,000. This person has 40 or 50 or 100 cars. Do you charge him $1,000 per car like you did her? She had to move that car by March 12th. Now, like I told you, the city marshal was down there on May 3rd. And if you know what May 3rd is, the 3rd of any month for people, May 3rd is paid for a lot of people. That's payday. So we done had city marshals down there the 3rd and 4th. We didn't have none of that. Because you can see it from my house. So a lot more going on than you all know about.
Thank you, Ms. Hutchins. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time? Still a citizen here?
Hello, how are y'all? My name is Lon Shipman, 3312 Bretton Drive. I first want to thank y'all for what you do. Thank the city staff and all the employees for what they do. Do a great job. I can't complain too much. Came here with, last time I was before you, 12 years ago when I retired as city engineer, and this week marks 25 years from when I first came to Valdosta, and I thought I'd come by and just thank y'all for all that you do. Bring up a couple of issues that been asked of me. First, probably the least important to me, most important to my wife, is the noise on Perimeter Road and North Oak Street extension, about 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, there seems to be a lot of muscle cars in the area, and boy, they scream. They peel out, they go, and they just make an unruly amount of noise. And so on behalf of my wife, I told her I would come and bring that to you. Don't know if anything can be done because you have to catch them, and not sure if you can prove how much noise they make, but it hurts her ears, so it's a problem. Second, my neighbors have brought to my attention, and I brought to the city engineer's attention, the streetlight pedestals. They're 27 years old in our neighborhood, and they've become to a point where they need a little maintenance. I know in the light of things that's probably not a major issue. I just want to make sure that Georgia Power has been presented with this issue so that they can schedule that maintenance work in a reasonable period of time, at least a couple of years. Finally, from a traffic safety point of view, with all the development and traffic on Perimeter Road at Brookfield and Lake Laurie Drive, which have sidewalks, there is a lacking of a pedestrian crosswalk at that intersection. Very busy intersection. If you want to try to cross it, you'll be doing so at your own peril. I've asked the city engineer to contact the DOT, and I'm sure they have. I just haven't heard any kind of feedback on that they've received that concern that they're programming that work. And while they're at it, I've also written the city about the intersection of Venus and Perimeter. Probably the busiest intersection in the city. It's just an estimate from my opinion, for what it's worth. And again, there's no pedestrian crosswalk. While there is one at Forest Street, and one is at North Oak Street Extension, I think, and even down at Country Club Road, there are pedestrian crosswalks. But again, I'm here to thank you. I'm a happy citizen of 25 years. I look forward to staying here another 25. Y'all have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens which we heard at this time?
George Russell Rhymes. I want to thank Mr. Shipper. He was working for the city. I got a traffic ticket on the Active Street divide, and because the lights were not set up right, he helped me to get out of that ticket. I just want to thank him for that. But anyway, what I want to mention is that, and he did it through the law when they're going to do stuff. DOT came out and they found out that there was a problem. That's all. But anyway, the reason I'm coming here this evening because, just like the young lady spoke, on Florida Street, and there are a lot of things that citizens bring to me. I used to come up here and talk to y'all about it, but I know y'all got tired of me. And so I don't do that much anymore. But I just ask you all, the people that call me on Florida Street, let's go to West Florida, and look to your right, and look at all those cars. So people across the street, they talk about it. I go out there, I have pictures, I share a picture with some of them practitioners. I don't understand how some people are silent and others are not. And that's what they're saying. I wish the city would be more consistent. If you are on me about cutting my grass, and somebody else's grass is 4 times taller than mine, and I don't know how you can resolve it. And like the speaker before me, what concerned me for I don't know how many years, and maybe you don't have control over it, there is no crosswalks in front of the east side of Valdosta High School, that 4-lane highway. And sometimes you will see people crossing at that intersection. And I've said it for at least 5 or 6 years. I can understand why I'm the only somebody in the city can see that there may need to be some crosswalks to that school. They have sidewalks, but just a couple crosswalks. And I don't know what it's going to take for Valdosta to, for somebody just to look out. Look around your city, our city, and just think about what people will say when they come visiting the city with no limits. The potholes, I'm taking pictures of them, and pretty soon I'm going to find a label for Valdosta based upon the potholes that really causing damage to people's cars. And people call me, I don't know why they don't call the Valdosta Daily Times or WCTV, I get sick of it. But they call me, and like I say, I don't rank before you all, I used to. But I didn't see nothing happen, there's no change. That's why I don't come and quote on those issues like that anymore. The citizens feel like to call me, Ryan, you know you're a publisher. Y'all have a nice time.
Thank you, George. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time? He's got four.
Hey, my name is Daniel Bannon. I live at 3018 Shelton Road, which is in the county, but I work at 118 North Patterson, which is in downtown. So, really, I just want to come up here and introduce myself. Some of y'all I've met, some of y'all I've not. My name is Daniel Bannon. I own Good Coffee downtown. We're currently redoing the old McKee building into a boutique hotel. And I'm also the chairman of the Central Valdosta Development Authority. Probably not something that comes up on a regular basis. So, moving forward, my intent as the chairman is to incorporate and do more with the authority in downtown. In the past, we have not. Thankfully, due to y'all's effort and Mark Barber's effort, we have more funding options than we have typically had. So we're able to utilize the $5 million that the Downtown Development Authority gets off of the Central Valdosta region to create financing options that were not available before. A lot of y'all are familiar with DCA funds and Georgia City funds. Typically those funds are utilized for the purchase and remodel of downtown buildings. Unfortunately, that is not something that is affordable for the majority of small business owners. Typically, people that are working in small business, they want to rent. And a lot of times they have a hard time getting that small business up and off the ground. So with the extra financing that we're able to have through the efforts of Mark Barber and y'all increasing the Main Street budget, we are trying to develop different grant options for small businesses, whether that be a rental assistance program or a stipend or a refund on payroll taxes or sales taxes that goes straight from CBA to small business owners so that we can try and create more small businesses in downtown. I know I'm not an industrial authority, I'm not creating 2,000 jobs, but if I can create an extra 20 jobs downtown next year, it's going to greatly impact not just the lives of those 20 employees, but also the lives of the citizens that are able to come downtown and enjoy our downtown. So, some of y'all may have my contact information, but please feel free to reach out to me if y'all have any ideas that we can utilize in our downtown to create these. They're a little bit different. They're not normal ways to help fund and grow downtown, but I would love to sit down with y'all and discuss it. So, again, my name is Daniel Bannon. I'm typically at Good Coffee, critical. I'm walking the streets downtown. I just can't do that. So, thank you.
Are there any other citizens who would like to be heard at this time? Hearing none, at this time, we return this part of our school to consider one. Part of our business by city manager. This is Mark Robert.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We've had a busy couple of weeks here at the city of Valdosta. As you know, last week we celebrated our first anniversary of Valdosta on the man. 65,000 plus rides in 12 months. It's been an incredible feat for a city of our size, and as we stated last week, we still continue to be the most successful launch of a microtransit system that VIA has had since they've been around, and as you know, they're a global organization. Also, it was Georgia Cities Week. It ended April 29th. We had a ton of things that we had. It was almost too many things happening at one time because you go back to back to back to the events. We're very proud of that. We posted all that to the Georgia Municipal Association website, and I think we probably have the most activities of any community around the state. Government 101 is really going well. The graduation is going to be Monday, May 16th, right here in council chambers. For those of you who would like to come to graduation, May 16th will be the day of the graduation. Main Street is preparing for Songwriter Showcase this weekend, as well as the traditional Mother's Build a Bouquet that's become a tradition of downtown, when folks go around to the different businesses downtown and get a flower for the mom. It really works really well. We have a lot of success with that, so I invite you to come down and be a part of that as well. Friday after 5, forming on this first Friday will be Friday, May 5th. So our first Friday after 5 will be May 5th, and we were trying to re-energize that. Like with any program, after a while it's dull and boring. So we're trying to take a lot of that, and Brandy's doing a really good job of that at re-energizing that. 6, yes, 6. Whatever. 6. So anyway, with overhead live music, and it's going to be just a little bit. We're trying to bring a little bit of vibe to that event. Love Where You Live is hosting its quarterly river cleanup 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. on May 7th, Saturday. And I think they're going to, one of the meeting spots is the Troopville boat ramp. I think the mayor and his kayak folks are doing something in Linville Park. But there's going to be multiple cleanup sites. So if you're interested in that, just get on the website. And Teresa Turner's got all that out there for you. And I just want to point out that we're doing these river cleanups quarterly now, and it's really making a big impact on the cleanliness of the river. Also happening Saturday is No Water No Beer Festival. It's the first time we've done this in conjunction with Georgia Beer Company, so I think it's going to be a fun time had by all. Also during the week, it's Georgia Drinking Water Week, and David Frost and Jason have been going out and talking to students in our elementary schools about the importance of quality water, how we get here, and all those good things that a lot of folks don't realize happens. We turn the little faucet on and the water comes out. There's a process behind that. So they've had a great time doing that and talking to students and adults as well as those processes. But as you see, always a lot going on here in the city of Valdosta. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
This time, section 9, Councilman, do you have any comments? We're going to start on the left, Councilman Hughes. Councilman Julie.
Well, actually, I just want to make a couple of comments, and one of them, if I was late, because of the fact I see some of our citizens did come talking about downtown. I've been having quite a lot of conversation with people about the activity and the traffic going on downtown. And one thing is about speed. And I talked to our city manager, and he's been saying he's on top of it, and I've seen that with, you have the traffic signal up there dictating how fast everyone's going. This is something that has been going on. People are talking about how it's nice to be sitting outside, eating, and they like that atmosphere and so forth, but it's the fact that a lot of cars and vehicles are moving fast, and sometimes they might skip the street and run on the sidewalk. So we're trying to figure out what we can do. Maybe we can look at our ordinance a little bit more and enforce it to get the traffic to slow down, something like that. But we are making some headway on top of it, trying to do something. Maybe we'll try to see how many cars or whatever we can do. But it is a nice thing that our citizens in the downtown area are coming to the council to talk about some of these things that you want to. And we hear you. And I can tell you, we're looking into it, and we're gonna keep trying. And if you got any, should I say, suggestions, we're open to hear. But we are doing something to try to slow that speed down. And also get some of those big trucks out downtown too. So we can keep it nice and comfortable so everybody can eat and eat outside. That's a wonderful thing. The second thing I would like to mention is I would like to have the council have more conversation talking about what we're going to do with the Mathis Auditorium. I've had some people talking about it, and we will just need to say, well, we probably need to do more than just have a conversation. We need to start with some kind of actually talking about if we're going to sell it. Do we really need it? What are some of the negotiations we can do to get it moved so we can get it sold? And I'd like our council to think about that, see what we can do to move it on to sell the maps. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Yeah, just like to let everyone, remind everyone that early voting is taking place now, for election. We have election is May 25th, but the early votes is going on at, the Board of Elections in 77 on Oak Street.
One of the most important things I forgot to mention that we've done over the last week is Monday, we went to Atlanta to the reapportionment office, and it's time for cities to do redistricting, and we had the ones that went, we had a great time. We redistrict our city zones in about an hour and a half, and I think everybody's going to be happy. So as we get those final results of what we work on for an hour and a half Monday, we'll get those to you and let you look at those. But it was a very successful meeting.
I would like everyone to do a one-minute silent prayer for our late Judge McLean, who was a great asset to the city of Valdosta / Knox County. He's going to be greatly missed. So can we pause for just 1 minute in honor of Judge McLean? Thank you. Also asking my city manager, our police department, and our council, on behalf of us in the Docket area, we're having a lot of shootings in that area, and we're asking to get some lights, some cameras put up, so we can show who are doing the shootings in that area. We have some mothers that children are so afraid that they'll lay on the floor having a nightmare afraid to get up. And these kids are so afraid until some of them not even going to school the next day. So I'm pleading with our city to get the Parks and Rec and put some cameras back in that area. Because we do, our children are our future tomorrow. And simply do too. There's a lot of single mothers that's raising their children on their own. And if we don't help them, who else is going to help them? So I'm pleading for us to come aside and say, oh, in that area. If there's not anything else, we'll make a motion that we adjourn. That makes second. At this time,